Act 1. So first of all, I always make sure that I got the brake fully back.
Okay.
So that I have the emergency brake on. Because if you had it in gear and you were standing in front to start it up, then it's going to jerk forward, right? So keep this back. On the left-hand side are these little levers. This lever's for the spark.
Mm-hmm.
When you start, it should be virtually all the way up.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, if you're starting it by the crank, it'll kick back on you.
Okay.
And then this is the gas, and I always leave a little bit of gas on. Not a lot, but a little bit.
It's almost like a choke.
Yeah, almost like a choke. Then the last thing in the middle of this car, if I can get around all my gardening stuff here now, is an air valve. So this provides air to the carburetor, and you should turn it about a quarter turn anti-clockwise. So that gives a little more air to start. Okay, that's when the engine is cold. So we're talking about a cold engine start here. Then the next thing you have to do is at the back of the car underneath is a valve that is in the gas line. It's next to the exhaust pipe here. You can see it has to be, the valve stem has to be in line with the flow of the gas. Okay, this is off. I always put the gas off when I'm not using the car. Okay. And then this is the gas on. Now remember, this is a gravity feed, so there's no fuel pump or anything. So when you open that, the gas is throughout the engine.
Okay.
Right? And then you come around to the front of the car, and you have your crank, and there's a little pin here at the bottom left-hand side of the radiator. You hold that out, and you crank it a couple of times. That gives it a choke. You don't do that if the engine's warm, but if the engine's cold, right?
Only a cold start.
Only a cold start. Do you need to use that? And then I have the key is under here. You see buttons. The red button, the one on this side, is for the lights if you're driving at night. The key has got to be in this position, which is to the right, to start the car. And that little button, you can start it either electronically, right, by pushing a starter button, or you can go around and crank the car.
Okay.
Depends what you prefer.
Okay.
I find it easier on a cold start to use the electric. On a warm start, doesn't matter.
All right. So we did already prime it.
Process. Now, once you got the car started, you immediately pull some spark to it, right? Give it some spark. You give it a little more gas. It's starting to warm up. It'll run a little rough. You then start to crank the air back again to the original position, or where you see the car's running kind of smoothly.
Okay.
If it's too far closed, the car will start to shake. You know it's going to shut itself off. If it's too far open, you got too much air, and it will start to shake and shut itself. So there's a fine position once the car warms up a little bit.
And then you leave it there.
And then you leave it there. You
Okay.
don't have to touch it again.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all there is to it.
And then, now,
Once you got it started, you have to get out of the emergency brake situation. This is neutral in the middle.
okay.
Okay, but it will back up in neutral. It will go forward, like if you're on a hill. So what I normally do is I leave it in this position and start backing out of the garage. This is the reverse pedal in the middle. This is the brake on the right-hand side. And so you work your way, in my case, down the driveway. And then you have your foot here. See this pedal moves.
Yes.
As you crank. So now it's in the neutral position. You have your foot there holding it in the neutral position. You push that all the way down. You would have held it here
Okay.
with your foot. And then to go low speed, you push it all the way down and give it a little more gas. And for once you got it going, and your foot is all the way down and you're going at a decent speed, you back off the gas, let it out slowly, fully, and then put on the gas again, and you're in high speed.
Okay.
So there's only two speeds. It's either fully down or it's fully up.
Yes.
And if you come to a stop sign, you hold it with your foot in the mid position. if you're gonna be there for a while, you can just pull that back to neutral.
To neutral, just like a stick shift.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if anybody gets in the way, you give them the horn. Right? So that's all there is to it.
All right. So, to recap, okay?
Yep. Make sure the gas is on.
Make sure the gas is on, and it's
Right.
supposed to be the lever on the full,
Make sure this
To the
is,
front.
This is in.
the emergency brake
emergency
all the
brake
way
is
back,
on, right? The lever, the start lever is up at the top.
all the way up.
The gas has a little bit of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot, but enough to keep the engine running.
The air counterclockwise.
The air counterclockwise about a quarter of a turn.
Okay.
Maybe it takes a little bit more, between a quarter and a half, but you'll get the feel of it after you've driven the car for a while.
Okay.
And
Then prime it.
prime it with the choke, then turn the key on. And you get the key on, you can electric start it,
Okay.
or you can start it with the crank. Doesn't really matter, but I find
And it won't go anywhere because the emergency brake is on neutral.
Because you're in
In the middle
emergency
position.
brake on, and this is in the mid position.
Got it.
So you see, it just holds that's a neutral position. You
Yep.
you could leave it in this position. I prefer to know it's back.
Okay. Sounds simple.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, once it starts.
Once you get used to it, it's it's a simple car to drive, really.
Yeah. Now
It
once.
comes automatically after a while. You feel for the gas. You're going up a hill, you just automatically reach for the gas, just like you would push on a pedal in a car.
Okay.
It becomes second nature to you after a while.
Okay.
The best thing to do is take it to a big parking lot somewhere,
Okay.
a mall, right? Or if you haven't driven before, someone with you, and then just start backing it up and making it go forward and that sort of thing, getting used to it.
Got it. I'm sure it's not a Formula One, so.
No, it's not going to take off on you. One of the things you do have to watch with these cars, if you back down a hill and you back down too fast, the wheels start to swing.
It will jackknife.
And it will jackknife you. So whenever you're backing down a hill, make sure your foot, you aren't being reckless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your foot is.
Don't hit the gas and you're headed backwards like you would in a car, because
You let it roll.
These kind of cars will take off on you when you're going down the hill.
Okay.
Forward, no problem. Of course, they're meant to go forward, but backing up, these wheels start to swing, and you'll find you have no control.
Got it. Perfect. Is that it?
Yeah.
Now, also, that's the battery. The battery is on the
Oh, the
bottom.
battery's underneath. That's a good point. I would give them this charger, except I need it for my lawnmower.
Yes.
But this
The
is
trickle
a
charger.
charger.
I'm sure he has
You can-
one because.
yeah, you can buy them with these ends on.
Mhm.
And what I've done is I've attached the other ends to the batteries, and it's right under here. So all I do is I connect it to this. You see this hanging down here?
Yep.
And yeah, you got it. And you just plug this in on the trickle battery. And I do it if the car's going to be still for a long time. I don't worry about it if you're going to store the car over the winter. It's best for the battery to have a trickle charger on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, also for the box on the dash, that is.
Well, this would normally, if you wanted to put the coils in and only start it without electricity. In other words, don't have a key.
You can jump start it that way.
You could put the wooden coils in the box. I got one in here. I can show you. It's a. The thing is that what you find is with these cars on a wet day, because there's no battery, right? If you have the coils. So I took the coils out and put a battery on, but that's a coil, so you need 4 of these. And in there, and you attach these to the spark plugs,
Directly.
and you throw the battery away. But then you can't drive at night because you got no lights.
Yeah, but
Right, so-
it'll
But
drive itself.
Yeah, oh yeah. You can, that's the way they were meant to start in the old days before the batteries, right? And you can have these books.
Mhm.
Carol fixed them all up so they're back in shape.
Good. Excellent.
Oh, and another interesting thing is I checked the gas. To check the gas, of course, doesn't have a gas gauge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you know when you're going to fill it up, because it's gravity feed. If you don't keep the tank sort of half full or quarter full, and you're going up a hill,
It'll cut
the
out.
gas
on it.
doesn't get to the engine.
Yeah.
Right? So what I do when every once in a while, just see how I'm with gas, I just use a paint stick.
Mm-hmm.
And you stick that down the bottom, and if it's up around here, I don't worry about much.
Okay.
Huh?